Hey there, survivors! I'm your host, Douglas here at Drumway Productions, and good golly guys, I'm so excited I could scream. Well everyone, it is that blessed time of year where we find out from all the different mask makers and prop makers, trick-or-treat studios, Fun World, etc. what type of products they're going to be offering for the new year. And I was actually supposed to be at the Las Vegas show in person, being able to get video and photos of these for you all. However, couldn't afford to go, so missed out on that one yet again. The wonderful news, however, is that pretty much all this stuff gets leaked online immediately, so there's no time to wait on me having to make it all the way back home, shoot a video, edit it, etc. We're just going to go ahead and jump into it and take a look at all the new products revealed by Fun World this year, or at least I guess just the Screaming Ghostface stuff. Now, as far as I've heard, this is not going to be everything Screaming Ghostface wise that Fun World's releasing this year, but this is everything that was ready in time for the trade show. So we might still have some other cool products released and announced a bit later. And pretty much all we're taking a look at today is masks. I don't think I've seen anything else other than an inflatable. Anyways, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this large wall of Screaming Ghostface masks. Now it appears that there are a couple of different parts of the Fun World booth that do have a large mask wall, as well as some costume pieces. And we'll just kind of, I guess, break these down as we look them over. Let's start off by addressing the elephant in the room, by the way. Right in the center of this beautiful Ghostface display at Fun World's booth, it says, Fun World since 1963, with Ghostface peeking over the top. Right below that, the Ghostface logo, and it says returns in Scream 7 2025, the many faces of Ghostface. So I have seen plenty of people talking about the fact that there are new masks, but I haven't really seen many people focusing on the fact that Scream 7 is still coming out apparently. Now I don't believe it was ever necessarily said that Scream 7 was canceled. However, after everything happened with Jenna Ortega leaving, Melissa Barrera being fired, etc., we all pretty much assumed that this project wasn't going to happen. At least that's what I largely seen online, is all the Screaming Ghostface fans talking about the fact that Scream 7 just isn't happening. But apparently it will be. Can't wait to find out more about that, if we'll have Nev returning, if we'll just have an entirely different cast, maybe, who knows? Regardless, I think that'll be pretty interesting to track. Next up, the many faces of Ghostface sign is so freaking cool. I really want that for the museum. It'll probably never happen. Maybe I'll have to make my own, but that thing is really cool. All right, now let's actually talk about the masks. So at the top, it looks like we will have the chrome as well as the golden Ghostface returning, which is great to see. I think both look awesome. Then moving on down to the left side, looks like the first mask we have there is the EU stamp standard style mask. So a regular, probably non-glow, maybe vanilla scented, EU stamped mask with a polyester shroud. Those are great. It's pretty much the standard Ghostface to most people, something that definitely everyone wanted to see come back, and at this point I still don't have one of the 2023 versions, but I'm excited to see that they will be coming back, hopefully with a much wider release than last year. Then we have the aged Ghostface mask. Now I do want to go ahead and point out that the paint job on this looks entirely different than the previous years. Obviously back here, I've got plenty of these. They're mostly like aged antiqued white, gray, and some yellow in there, whereas these really have a very antique yellowed kind of look to them. It seems like the paint job is different on these, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're going to treat these like the zombie masks and make the paint job a little bit different with each release so that collectors like myself, who are completionists, will want every version. And after looking at it a bit more, I'm pretty certain that this is a new mold. It is well known at this point that the original release did not have a vent hole in the mouth, and this was an accident. This was not something Fun World chose to do, but it happened. I also think that there may have been some warping on the original release. I know some people said they thought the shape of them looked a bit off. Personally, I still think they look great, but looking at these side by side with other EUs, it seems like this has a much better shape overall. Maybe I'm just reading into that too much, but they definitely have a new paint style, and I want to say it is a new mold with the proper mouth punch. Right next to that, it looks like we have a color changing Ghostface. It looks like one of these standard light up versions where the mouth would be red or green like the previous ones that they released. However, the mouth on this one is black. And looking at that text, it does look like it says color changing. So I'm gonna guess this is gonna be one that's illuminated from behind and the entire face changes color, which should be cool. Moving on down below those, we have the 25th anniversary EU stamped Sparkle Shroud masks making a return, which is great to see. Those have definitely become a fan favorite. Right next to that one, however, we have the newly released, I think it says Deluxe Aged Mask. It's kind of hard to read the text, it's a little bit blurry, but I'm gonna guess, since it has the 25th anniversary shroud on it, that it's supposed to be a deluxe style. But yeah, this is pretty much just your regular aged Ghostface mask mold with the 25th anniversary style sparkle shroud, which overall, those look good. I think they'll be great masks. I know a lot of people do prefer the regular polyester style if they're doing a full costume, but for just display purposes, if you want to get it signed, just for even the collection in general, I think the 25th anniversary hoods are really cool. Right next to that, we have the standard bleeding mask making a return. This is a classic ever since it was released. They have been loved every single year. And you know, in the museum, that's the style mask that most people bring up to me, is the bleeding mask. Looking in the center tier of the display, it looks like we have new fluorescent masks, and I'm very happy to announce these are not ultra white molds. They look to be EU molds, and they look amazing. We never did get the full EU fluorescent set. We technically did have the green version and the orange version, but they never did a pink. And I'll tell you guys, that pink fluorescent EU is calling my name. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm stoked to see the neon masks making a return in general, but to see them on the EU molds makes me even happier. Right next to that, we have some more Bling masks. Now it looks like this line is definitely going to get expanded upon. There are some styles I don't think I saw making a return, maybe I missed them, but they have added to that style list. So it is important to note that these specific masks right here look to be like standard hard plastic EU style masks. The devil face looks like a proper style devil face, but bedazzled in a red bling. And then of course it does look to have the sparkle style shroud as well. Right below that, it looks like we have the standard style, ultra white EU hard mold, the actual style that was used in Scream 6 properly blinged out here. So I imagine that they finally figured out or got word somehow that the style bling masks they were releasing weren't the exact ones from Scream 6, and so now they put out the proper style from Scream 6. So for those of you who bought the older style to fill in that spot in your collection, guess you're gonna have to get this one, and overall, I think the shape of these looks much, much better. But there is some odd stuff there we'll talk about in a minute. Right below that, we have the Mardi Gras style bling mask. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this, guys. I like this mask type. This one got a ton of hate. Whenever I saw this one leaked online, I did post it on my Instagram. It was just posted on eBay for sale. I had no clue they were coming, but saw a listing online that they were selling them. And when I posted that mask, I expected a good mix of people to not like it and for a lot of people to love it, but it was almost entirely nothing but hate. I was quite surprised. I like the look of this, guys. It's got the yellow under the eye, the green kind of above the eye and going down the face, and then it's mostly purple. I like the color choices. Obviously it is Mardi Gras. I live very close to Louisiana, New Orleans, so maybe I'm more predispositioned to like Mardi Gras. But just overall, the color choices and everything else, I kind of like the style of this mask. Moving right along to the right side of the photo, we have the What's Up Stoned and Smiley masks from Scary Movie making a return. Always great to see those. Those are definitely loved by many people who aren't even Screaming Ghostface fans. Below that, the Dead by Daylight Arctic Ghostface and the Devil Face are making a return, which is great to see. I love both styles. And guys, here on the end, we have a very cool, very special one. We have Santa Claus Ghostface. And it looks like this is going to be a boxed special edition mask. And I'm guessing it's because the Santa hat looks to be stitched onto the actual vinyl mask. And then it looks like it actually does have a full beard sewn into the vinyl of the Ghostface mask. I have already seen online a lot of people hating on that one. Personally, I love it. Now, when we start getting Easter Bunny Ghostface, I might be singing a different tune. I know you're Easter Unlimited, but come on, you gotta draw the line somewhere, right? Right? Okay, and moving right along to another image. Now, yet again, Fun World is putting out a ton of new products this year. There are some really, really cool designs, including a new, almost Ghostface looking alien that was sculpted by Burkbench, Clive Barzilia. But we're not really going to talk about those. We're here to talk about Scream and Ghostface exclusively. Starting at the very top, it looks like we have another version of the Devil Face Bling mask, and I do say other version because the other one looks to be more like the hard mold plastic ultra white EU style mask, whereas this looks to be the classic cheap $3 vacuform mask mold. However, as we know with the previous Bling masks, they're making those in a much thicker plastic, which is definitely nice, but I'm still not a massive fan of that mold, and I'm kind of curious why they're putting out Devil Face in both versions. I guess we'll see. Maybe they are different outside of that, but you can definitely tell in the photos they're different versions. Next to that, we have the golden mask, we have one of the pink fluorescent EUs, the standard style EU, the EL wiring Ghostface mask, and it looks like the patriotic American flag Ghostface will be returning. We have the smiley, the standard Devil Face. Moving on to the next line, it looks like the first one is the standard Bling. Maybe that's a different one, but it looks to be the standard Bling. We have a very nice chrome Ghostface. Then we have the green EU fluorescent, the new aged Ghostface standard poly shroud, the color changing Ghostface right next to that. Looks like the Ukraine style Ghostface mask is making a return. The smiley mask from Scary Movie, Viper Face is also making a return. And let's go down to the next line. Here we have another Bling style, and this one looks to be blood splattered Bling. You have red gems, kind of looking like a blood splatter on one side of the face, and of course your standard Bling. Next to that one, we have disco mirror covered Ghostface. Now, this one looks really, really cool. Even from a distance, I like the look of this one a lot. Both of those, by the way, look to be the deeper, like cheap version vacuform mask molds. So, you know, not the best molds, but honestly, I think at least the disco mirror one looks really good. Right next to that, we have the orange EU fluorescent, the 25th anniversary, the bleeding mask. Pride mask is also making a return, which is good to hear. I think a lot of people really like those. The What's Up Scary Movie mask, Arctic Ghostface, and then we have reached the end of another line. Moving down, there is an empty mannequin head here, so I'm guessing a style mask was either removed, forgotten, something along those lines. Then we have the return of the glow-in-the-dark Bling. Next to that, we have the aged 25th anniversary. We have the cryptic making a return, which is, of course, yet again, amazing. I know a lot of people were really after those last year, and they were kind of hard to get a hold of, so I'm really, really happy to see those returning. And then the pumpkin Ghostface, yet again, another great style. I love those. And here at the end of this photo, we don't have a mask style, but we have some concept art of what looks to be a new Dead by Daylight Ghostface. Now, I don't know if this will actually get produced or not. I know previously they did those really, really cool, like standard style, but really cool crazy shroud Dead by Daylight Ghostfaces, and they never got released. This one looks very different. And I'm actually not sure why it's not present here, because I believe there's already been some photos posted online of the entire costume of what this version of Ghostface is going to look like. I can't remember the name for it, but I know they just added it to Dead by Daylight, and it's a very odd, but very cool looking costume and mask. All right, the GoPro overheated, but that's not going to stop us. Let's go ahead and get right back into it. Now, we're going to go ahead and start looking at a new picture, and it looks like a lot of these masks are basically the same, so we're going to just try and take a look at the ones that I think are a little bit different. So in the top left, we have another Bling Dead by Daylight Devil Face. However, this one looks to be more like the classic Dead by Daylight Devil Face mold, rather than like the deeper style version that I mentioned earlier. So I'm curious if they'll be putting out both, or if they're gauging interest in which one would be more preferred. Because keep in mind, not all these masks will probably make it to final production. They're showing them here to see if there's interest in them enough to like take it to market and mass produce it, but we have seen many really cool styles before shown here that never made it. As far as the rest of the top row, looks like masks that we've already talked about or are returning. Now below that Bling Devil Face mask, it looks like we do have a separate style Bling Ghostface, and this is what I'm curious about. The one earlier looks like it also could have been one of these hard mold plastic masks. However, this one definitely looks to be that style. And this would look like the proper mask from the subway scene in Scream 6. So for those of you who are interested in getting it, this seems to be the right one. Outside of that, the rest of that row, everything else looks normal. We do have the color changing there. Moving down below that, we do have another Bling style. This is the bloody or blood splattered Bling. And this one in particular, yet again, looks to be that separate style hard mold plastic mask. Talking about these different mold types is probably a bit confusing, but for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you definitely know. And if you don't, hopefully you can look at the pictures and tell what I mean. All right, and I think the last style we're taking a look at here is the disco mirror version. And this, yet again, like the others I just listed, looks to be the hard plastic mold version, instead of that deeper mold that we took a look at earlier. Okay, actually at the very end of that lineup, we do see an unboxed version of the Santa Ghostface. And guys, personally, I think it's a pretty cool style. I think it looks great. And you almost can't see it in this photo, but if you look all the way over, just hiding on the other side of the Viper face and the Arctic Ghost face, it looks like we will have the Ultra Whites returning, at least in the Slayer kit, and it looks like perhaps a different version of the Slayer kit as well, right below it. Hard to see. And then right next to, hiding behind Viper face, it looks like we have a Bling Slayer kit. So we're gonna have the bedazzled bloody Ghostface mask as well as the bedazzled bloody Ghostface knife. All right, and with that being said, guys, I think that pretty much does it for everything new Fun World is bringing, Screamin' Ghostface wise, at least mask wise, that we've seen here. I'm sure there will be tons of accessories, full costumes, plenty of other products that we have not seen yet. But the masks are pretty much what most people are excited to see and hear about, and it looks like we have a lot of really, really cool styles coming out this year. And I want to go ahead and ask you all, let me know in the comment section down below, which style are you most excited for? For me, it's really, really difficult to choose, I'm going to be honest. I would say it's pretty close between the Santa Ghostface and the pink fluorescent EU. Super excited to finally add one of those to the collection. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe, like this video. Of course, dropping a comment definitely helps. And if you guys want to see it, I think I'm going to go ahead and do a video like this one going over the full Trick or Treat Studios catalog as well, because they have some absolutely amazing announcements there. Love you all, thank you for watching, I hope you're excited about the new stuff coming from Fun World this year, and see you next time.